Yo everyone, hello, welcome back to episode 12 of Marvel vs. Capcom Revisited. I'm back, it is Iconage as always, and we are back with another installment of the series with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because I thought, well, last time I did Marvel 2 and I want to do it again because there are so many unique and weird and wacky characters in this game that are really cool to discuss. And if you don't know, this series is pretty, I guess, rambly. I'm just going off bullet points on my phone, so there's no big elaborate script. I haven't, pre-recorded or rehearsed or anything. It's very stream of consciousness, I suppose one could say, and it's good to have one in the background. And yeah, so for this episode, we are going to be exploring the Cactus Man himself, Amingo. And I have some notes here, so I wrote down that he's actually an original character. I believe him and Ruby Hart, and there might be another character as well who I'm forgetting about at this moment in time, who's an original character, they were made specifically for this game. But to be honest with you, I really could see Amingo being in the Darkstalkers games. He kind of fits, right? He's like this weird creature. He's vaguely humanoid. He's got a head and 2 arms and 2 legs and a big belly, but, and a sombrero. But he's a bit of an odd guy, but we all love him. He's everyone's favorite low tier. And speaking of being a low tier, he's a low tier. He doesn't have anything super great about him. I mean, he does have some pros, but we'll get into the pros and cons in a bit. He has some pros. He's not unusable. He's not like Roll or Servbot or Chun-Li or whatever, but he's not amazing either, and he definitely can't hang with the top tiers, like Cable, for example. So on tier lists, he's usually around E or D tier. I've seen one tier list made by, I think it was Justin Wong a couple years back, who put him in mid-tier, but I believe mid-tier placement for Amingo is very, I guess, a bit of a hot take, I suppose, because if you look at most tier lists for this game, both new and old, he's very low tier, very bottom tier. So with the intro out of the way, let's get into the pros and cons, and I'll put my phone down. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading my notes. So, pros and cons. He has some decent normals. His lights are a bit stubby, but his heavy punch, you can see big range, and if you hit, or it hits multiple times. So look at the damage on that. 19 damage, and you hit one button. And I believe that in his jumping heavy kick also hits multiple times, 19 damage. And I believe, someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe they might be the highest damaging normals in the game. Or at least some of the highest damaging normals. They're pretty darn good. They're a bit slow, they're very committal. You can cancel stuff into them. You can pick up and get a little combo like that. And we'll get into combos a bit later on. But yeah, they do good damage, although they are very committal. Like if I hold up, see how long it takes me to jump? You really have to wait for the recovery of these moves to finish. So they're very committal, but if you do manage to land them, you can get some good stuff going. Yeah, good range on these moves. And in general, he has some forward moving, kind of horizontally traveling moves that allow him to close in on the enemy. So that's not too bad. He also has some decent DHC utility. He has 2 supers. Is it quarter circle back? Yeah. He has this super. And we'll get into supers in more detail later. But he also has this move. And they're decent to DHC into. Because if you have a super that hits the opponent, straight up into the air, most characters aren't going to be able to properly confirm off that into a DHC. Whereas with Amingo, quarter circle forward and both kicks, boom. I believe you might be able to mash for more damage. That was like, what, 28 hits? Let's see if I mash now. No, 28. Okay, 28, regardless of whether or not you mash. Please forgive me. I just had a big bowl of lunch, and I'm in a food coma right now. So if I mess up, please forgive me. I'm also running on like 3 hours of sleep. I couldn't sleep this morning. And yeah. Oh yeah, he also has this move, I believe. The Cactus Kids. You can have 2 of them on screen at once. It's Amingo's children. They're not amazing. I'm pretty sure they go down in like 1 or 2 hits. So if you have a character who's really good at putting stuff on screen like Cable or Storm with Hailstorm or any sort of character who can zone decently well, then they'll be able to handle it pretty well. But I guess low and maybe intermediate level play, where you're not doing crazy ROM infinites and, super optimized movement and whatever. Cactus Kids is a decent knowledge check. It'll frustrate the opponent and allows you to set up. You can also do some resets. They hold in place. You can, I believe his medium punch is his launch, or is his heavy kick. I can't believe I forgot the launcher. Crashing medium kick, that's the one. If you're quick, you can go into a combo. Although it is a bit tricky though, the hitbox is a little weird. I'm pretty sure you can do it, but I just can't do it now. But it's a bit tricky. And that's about it for pros. So for cons, I thought of, he has poor mobility. I mean, you can't really see my... Can I turn my inputs on? Dummy action... I don't think I can turn my inputs on. But I'm trying to air dash now. You might be able to hear it because I'm on my big fight stick. It's really big, and I hope it's not making a lot of noise. But yeah, he doesn't have an air dash. He has a ground dash. It's decent. It covers a decent amount of space. You can press out of it. So you can actually travel forward and press like a big heavy punch or something. Trying to pick up. And his backdash is alright. It doesn't go very far though. So yeah, his mobility isn't great. You know, not having great mobility is sort of like a death sentence in Marvel, because if you can't fly, you can't teleport, you can't stall, you can't do any of that, it's really hard for you. Especially in this game where there's no X factor. So it's really hard to make a comeback. I've also written that he is a big body. And as you can tell, Amingo is quite the girthy fellow. He has been eating a lot of burritos, I assume. I assume that's what cactus people eat. Maybe I'm profiling him. I apologize. I don't want to get cancelled. But yeah, he's a big guy. And that leaves him open to being hits, he'll get tagged quite easily, rather, if I can speak properly, forgive me. He'll get tagged quite easily by his own heavy punch because of the, I guess, awesome range that it possesses. So it leaves him open to, especially zoning, Cable's Hyper Viper Beam, Hailstorm Super, Sentinel Drones, any sort of move that can go full screen or even like half screen, it's going to catch Amingo. And because he doesn't have great mobility, he finds it really hard to go around those zoning tools. So he's kind of forced to just take it. I also write that he struggles against zoning as a result of the big body. But I also wrote that he does fairly low damage, none of his normals... No, his heavy normals do good damage. But everything else, not really. He has another launcher. His only notable normals are his launchers. And he has 3 of them. And he also has some decent heavy buttons on the ground and in the air. But other than that, not really anything of note in terms of damage. Amingo does have an infinite, but it only works on some characters. And even then, if you're learning Amingo, or you're just starting out with Marvel in general, you're not going to be able to do that. And even then, with Amingo, if you're fighting one of the popular characters like Storm, Cable, Sentinel, Cyclops, Psylocke, etc., good luck getting into a position where you could even do the infinite, because you'll probably just be killed. Especially if you're fighting like Storm or Sentinel, it's a horrible, horrible matchup for Amingo. He gets mauled, he gets eaten alive by a lot of the characters in this game. And for my final con, I also wrote that he has pretty poor synergy. He has some decent assists. I guess we can cover assists. Let me tag in this one. He's pretty unique in that he has a heal assist. I'm pretty sure this can either heal you, or it can buff your defense. So it's sort of like Rogue's buff, where she kisses you, and I'll cover Rogue one day. So, Amingo has that. He also has this assist. Just as quarter circle forward heavy punch, I believe. Decent sort of horizontal get off me tool. And he also, oh yeah, that's it. So he has a life up assist, and he also has a defense up assist. So that means that he only really has one offensive assist, and even then you can see the range isn't very good. Like I'm right here, and it's missing. And Cable's an average-sized character. He's not big, he's not small. So if it's missing on Cable, it's probably going to miss on a lot of other characters in the game too. So it's not great. Very poor synergy. But, again, decent DHC potential. It's not that good, but it's not horrible either. But you could do a lot better, though. So, let's get Cable out of the corner. We'll go back to mid-screen. Yo, the Amingo wave dash. Let's go. I've been practicing. So let's go over Amingo's normals. So, standing light punch. It's just a regular jab. It has decent range. It'll connect from around here. From around there, maybe. Yep. Decent combo starter. Goes into his medium punch. The big clap. I don't want to clap too hard because it'll peak the microphone and it'll destroy your ears. You can also try to combo into stuff, but it's hard because of the pushback. So you see, even in the corner, if I space it out slightly, quarter circle forward heavy punch and light punch will not hit under any circumstance. So it's very hard to combo into stuff when you use these. He also has heavy punch, which we've gone over. Light kick. I'm not sure if this is a low. It does a decent chunk of damage. Decent combo starter. but the range isn't amazing. Like, you see it's missing from here, so it's not great. Medium kick, which is like medium punch in the... I guess in a way, because it's like a combo extended pull, it's like combo filler. Except, if you're right up close, you can go into his quarter circle forward punch move. You can go into both versions, and you might as well go into the heavy punch version. You get a little bit more damage. So that's a little B&B. Although you have to be right up close to the enemy in order for this to connect properly. So good luck doing that. He also has heavy kick, which is like, get off me, douche. The range isn't amazing. You see it's missing from here, even though I'm pretty close to Cable. And even though Amingo physically moves himself forward, like douche, when he does this move, it still misses. I guess it's an anti-air button. If they like to jump in at you or air dash in at you a lot, I guess you could just be like, douche. You know, one button anti-air, not bad. And on hit, it does 14 damage, so not too bad. I wonder if you can combo it into a super. Maybe on a bigger character. Maybe, yeah, I don't think it would work in mid-screen. So I think this heavy kick launcher into this super, it might only work on big characters like Sentinel. Let's go for his crouching normal. So crouching light punch is just standing light punch, but crouching, pretty standard. Crouching medium punch is just a basic launcher. If you space it out, it can whiff. So you can't hit confirm from a distance. You have to do it from, you know, right up close to get the launch. Crouching heavy punch is this really unique. It's kind of like a command normal in a way. It hits twice. You can actually combo after it. Both hits are special cancelable. Although you'll see here that if it's done in the corner like this, the second hit can whiff, so be very careful. Because I assume if the first hit connects and the second hit whiffs, it's minus on hit. But I'm just guessing. This is my estimate, so I could be wrong on that. But it looks to be the case. So if you want to use this move, 28 damage, so it's pretty high damage for a poke. Like, that's really good damage for a one-button move. It's not too bad, but it's very slow and very committal. Crouching light kick is just standing light kick, but just crouching. Like that. Crouching medium kick is a launcher, and it's really cool looking. I love how, I guess the spikes, like the thorns or whatever, come up and they physically hit you and launch you. You can jump up and get a combo. It's really cool. And I believe that if you go... I think that if you hit the crouching light kick, the launcher, this launcher specifically, is guaranteed to connect. Because you can see if I try to go into medium punch launcher, it's whiffing. But if I go into medium kick, it hits every time. Even when I'm spacing it out and I'm hitting with the tip of crouching light kick. So this should be like your go-to launcher if you're going to use a launcher from a crouching normal. He also has sweep. And that's how you would combo into that super, I believe. So this move is alright. It's very committal, has a lot of startup, has a lot of recovery. I think Amingo just recovers a teeny bit before the opponent does, so it's not, you know, super plus on hit. I'm not sure about the frame data for this character. And you can see there, knocks him down into a soft knockdown state, I believe. They might be able to tech roll out of that. And if they can't, that's even better, but not a bad move. He also has jumping light punch. It goes kind of downwards. 5 damage, nothing really of note. Jumping medium punch is just his launcher animation, but in the air. It's just combo filler. Jumping light kick is just, you know, another basic jumping attack. Medium kick is sort of like sweep, but in the air. And you can pick up from it. So that's like your jump in button. And I believe they're overheads, so you can get a combo off of it. Yeah, you can do something like that. You know, not bad damage. He also has jumping heavy punch. Douche. 14 damage. You can also pick up after that. So if you want to go for something fast, you would jump in and do the kicks. If you want to do something a bit slower, but more rewarding, in that it does more damage on hits, you can do that move. Boom. Meterless combo, 54 damage. Pretty good, especially for a low tier. And jumping heavy kick is, we've seen this before, hits up to 4 times, command normal. Could also pick up. I dropped it at the end, but that's okay. 4 times. And if you're playing it, you know, a team of not 3 Amingos, just a regular team with 3 separate characters, I believe this gives you enough hit stun to visibly react and hit confirm into an assist. So it's quite good for combo starters and, you know, things like that, of that nature. So that's about it for his normals. As far as I can tell, he doesn't have any command normals. So he's pretty decent. What he lacks in range for a lot of his buttons here, he more than makes up for in the damage of his heavy buttons. So his heavy buttons are his standout buttons. They're the most important part of his normal toolkit, and you want to use them very often with Amingo. In both the corner and mid-screen when you're in the corner, pretty much in every situation, see if you can go for a heavy and start a combo from it. Even better if you can do a sneaky low like that into a little combo. Speaking of combos, let's go into his supers, because they're used pretty often. Well, actually, have we covered his specials? I think we have. I believe we have. Oh, hang on. No, I haven't. I can't remember if I did. I have really bad short-term memory. I think I covered his Cactus Kids. They do different things, but I also forgot you can do quarter circle back and punch. Hits multiple times. It's a forward moving strike. The light version hits up to 3 times from point blank range, and the heavy version also hits 3 times. Heavy does 22 damage, light does 18, and it side switches, whereas the heavy version stays on the same side. Oh, no, never mind, it also side switches. So I guess if you do either version when they're in the corner, then it'll side switch. But I assume if you space it out a bit, yeah, you stay on the same side, so that's good. This move cannot be done in the air. It is a ground-only technique, so it's not too bad to use, I suppose. You could use it for a little hit confirm like that, off of a crouching heavy punch. The first hit, I believe. It seems like a decent move, like a little combo ender. Like that. 1, 2, 3, light version connects, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there you go. See, in this situation, that combos, but you can also do that. So he has decent combo potential. If you space it out, it might not work. So that doesn't work, and that also doesn't work. So, as far as I can tell now, a general rule of thumb is that if you're in a situation where you can combo into the quarter circle forward punch, then in that same situation, you can just as easily combo into the quarter circle back punch. So now let's go into his supers. I believe he has 2, yes. They have not been translated. I'm not going to try to pronounce them because I don't know any Japanese. So you'll have to forgive me. So, quarter circle back and 2 punches. I believe this is a hit grab. I don't think it's an unblockable, and we can actually test that. Guard all. Let's see if they can block. Yes, it's a hit grab. So I don't think you can combo into it. You might be able to with some cursed Amingo setup. Some crazy tech that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, it's a hit grab. Has a lot of startup though. And if you do it from a distance, they're just going to be able to block or just jump. So it's pretty easy to counter. And we've already seen his quarter circle forward and 2 kicks. It has next to no horizontal range, but it has amazing vertical range. And I guess if they like to super jump and kind of stay in the air directly above you, you can do that and try to catch them. I suppose you could do that. 45 damage, not too bad. And as we've seen in the corner, you can do sweep into it. 54 damage. And this also works like that, I believe. Let me get out of the corner. So I guess if you're like right up close, you could always go into that. For pretty good damage, and as I said, if they're in the air, you can also DHC into it. But it doesn't hit OTG, so you do need to actually use a normal into it. It looks pretty funny. So because of this move not having a lot of horizontal range, it's very hard to combo into, like from a distance, because obviously normals have pushback. So a lot of normals, you know, there's too much pushback, so you can't really combo into it. You could launch like that, but you might as well just go on a sweep and do it. Oh, there we go. So that's how you're really going to combo into this move. So it's not too bad. They're alright supers to have. He doesn't... Oh yeah, he also doesn't have any air supers. He really only has this move. Doosh. And his air normals, which are, you know, admittedly, as we know, quite good. But no air supers hurts him a bit. So in terms of supers, he's a very grounded type of character. Before we wrap up, let's go over some Amingo combos. So we've already seen this. You can go sweep into super. Like that, 54 damage, really good. You can also do his off a jumping, you know, jumping string, any sort of light to medium normals, or if a jumping heavy button. You can go into crouching light kick, crouching medium kick, launch magic series, and then end with quarter circle forward, heavy punch in the air. Little B&B that works in the corner. Let's see if it works out of the corner. Let me just throw a cable. Yeah, nice. And you can see because this move, this special attack, the quarter circle forward one, you know, not only does it move Amingo forward, it also moves the opponent forward. So we do it and they're out of the corner. Now they're in the corner. And you've cornered them with Amingo, and you can go for a throw, you can go for the hit grab or something, you can do whatever you want. So it's not too bad to use. That's like your basic B&B. He also has that move. And he also has the infinite. And I'm not too familiar with the infinite, like how to do it, how to actually execute it, but I'll put a video on screen now for you guys to see. You know, just to get an idea of what it looks like and how it's done. It involves looping his quarter cycle punch move, both in the air and on the ground, and using some of his normals. And it's a really cool infinite. It's really cool how Amingo of all characters has a reliable infinite that he can do. It's really cool. I like it a lot. And I think that's going to be it. So it's a little bit of a shorter episode, 21 minutes, which is actually kind of long for a YouTube video with today's attention span, I suppose. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about Amingo. If you would like to see another game or another character covered in future, please let me know. I like to read all the comments and, you know, kind of gauge what kind of interests people, and I can tailor my content towards that. So yeah, thank you all very much again for watching. Appreciate you all. Thank you. Bless up. And I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.